Something Stephanie White said has Indiana Fever fans asking serious questions. It wasn't a game-winning shot. It wasn't a blockbuster trade. It was a routine media session that quickly turned into one of the biggest conversations in the WNBA. Within minutes, clips from the press conference were everywhere. Across #IndianaFever and #Caitlin Clark, fans started debating whether the Fever were preparing for major lineup changes. Then another name entered the conversation: Sophie Cunningham. Almost instantly, basketball pages began posting dramatic headlines, claiming something significant was about to happen. But were those headlines based on official information? Or had social media once again raced ahead of the facts? Comments under @IndianaFever and @WNBA exploded. Some fans believed the coaching staff was simply managing player workloads. Others feared that lineup changes or injury concerns could affect the team's momentum. Every practice video, every warm-up clip, every coach's quote was suddenly being analyzed frame by frame. That's what happens when one of the most talked-about teams in basketball enters another critical stretch of the season. Today, we are breaking down what Stephanie White actually discussed publicly, why Caitlin Clark and Sophie Cunningham immediately became the focus of online speculation, and how a routine coaching update turned into one of the biggest WNBA stories of the week. Because once you separate official information from viral headlines, the story becomes much more interesting than many people expected. The conversation didn't begin with a shocking announcement. It began with uncertainty. As the Indiana Fever prepared for another important stretch of the season, every update from head coach Stephanie White suddenly carried enormous attention. Fans weren't just watching games anymore. They were watching practice footage, press conferences, warm-up videos, even short interviews posted by @IndianaFever. Across #IndianaFever, one question appeared over and over again: will the lineup stay the same? Then Caitlin Clark and Sophie Cunningham became the center of the discussion. Not because of an official statement confirming major news, but because fans began interpreting routine coaching comments in different ways. Some believed Stephanie White was simply discussing player management. Others wondered whether the coaching staff was considering lineup adjustments based on upcoming opponents. Within hours, #Caitlin Clark was filled with clips from media sessions, screenshots from interviews, and countless fan theories. Every sentence from the coach was analyzed. Every pause was examined. Every quote generated a different interpretation. Comments under @WNBA reflected just how divided basketball fans had become. Some urged patience. Others believed something significant was about to happen. Basketball analysts reminded viewers that this is common during a long professional season. Coaches regularly discuss workloads, recovery, matchups, and roster flexibility. Those conversations don't automatically mean a player will miss games or that a dramatic change is coming. But when a team has one of the biggest stars in the sport, even ordinary coaching updates can become major headlines. That's exactly what happened here. The internet quickly transformed a routine media availability into one of the week's biggest talking points. Meanwhile, inside the Fever organization, the focus remained unchanged. Prepare for the next opponent. Improve every day. Stay healthy. Execute the game plan. Outside the locker room, however, the speculation continued to grow. Every new social media post created another theory. Every practice clip inspired another prediction. And fans kept asking the same question: was there really a major development? Or had social media simply gotten ahead of the facts once again? As the next media session approached, the attention surrounding the Indiana Fever reached another level. Reporters gathered. Cameras were rolling. Fans refreshed social media every few minutes. Everyone wanted the same thing. An official update. Across #IndianaFever, supporters debated every possible scenario. Some believed Stephanie White was simply managing player workloads during a demanding stretch of the season. Others wondered whether the coaching staff was considering different rotations depending on the upcoming opponent. Within minutes, short clips from interviews began circulating online. A single sentence from a press conference. A brief answer about preparation. A comment about staying flexible. Those ordinary coaching remarks suddenly became the center of thousands of online discussions. Comments under @IndianaFever and at Wnba reflected just how quickly opinions formed. Is the lineup changing? Did the coach hint at something? Should fans be worried? Basketball analysts urged caution. They pointed out that coaches regularly speak about recovery, minutes, practice intensity, and game planning throughout a long season. Those conversations are routine in professional basketball. But when Caitlin Clark is involved, routine rarely stays routine. Across #Caitlin Clark, every update became headline material. Fans analyzed practice videos. They compared previous lineups. They discussed how different combinations might affect the Fever's offense and defense. Sophie Cunningham also became a major part of that discussion. Supporters highlighted the intensity, communication, and veteran presence she brings to the team, while debating how every player's role could evolve as the season progresses. Inside the Fever organization, however, the priorities remained straightforward. Prepare for the next opponent. Execute the game plan. Continue building chemistry. Improve every day. Outside the organization, the conversation kept growing. One fan account posted a theory. Another creator reacted to that theory. Soon, dozens of videos were discussing the same topic from different angles. Across #WNBA, many longtime fans reminded viewers that speculation often spreads much faster than official team updates. That's why experienced reporters typically wait for confirmed information before drawing conclusions. Even so, the anticipation surrounding the Fever never slowed down. Every new practice, every coach's interview, every injury report, every roster decision now carried enormous attention because the expectations surrounding this team had never been higher. And as game day moved closer, one question continued dominating the conversation. Would the next official update finally answer everyone's questions, or would it create an entirely new wave of speculation? As game day got closer, the spotlight became impossible to ignore. Every move the Indiana Fever made attracted national attention. Every practice session, every shoot-around, every media availability, every lineup discussion. It all became front-page basketball news. Across #IndianaFever, fans continued refreshing social media, hoping the next update would finally answer the questions that had been circulating for days. Would the rotation stay the same? Would everyone be available? Or was the coaching staff simply being cautious before releasing official information? Meanwhile, Stephanie White remained focused on basketball. During public media sessions, coaches typically discuss preparation, execution, and matchups, not internet rumors. Still, that didn't stop fans from analyzing every word. Across #Caitlin Clark, short interview clips spread rapidly. A comment about staying patient. A statement about trusting the process. A reminder that every player has to be ready. Each quote generated thousands of reactions. Some fans believed they hinted at strategic adjustments. Others argued they were simply standard coaching responses before an important game. Comments under @IndianaFever reflected both viewpoints. Let's wait for the official game report. The coaching staff always keeps plans private. Everyone is reading too much into one interview. Basketball analysts also stepped into the conversation. They reminded viewers that successful teams constantly evaluate their rotations. Player minutes can change. Matchups can change. Game plans can change. That's part of coaching at the highest level. It doesn't automatically signal a major development. Meanwhile, supporters continued discussing Sophie Cunningham's role within the team. Many praised her competitive mentality, communication, and willingness to bring energy whenever her number is called. Others highlighted how important veteran leadership can be during a long season filled with pressure and expectations. Across #WNBA, another conversation started gaining momentum. Had the Indiana Fever become the most closely watched team in the league? Many fans believed the answer was yes. No other team's practice updates seemed to generate this much discussion. No other coach's comments were analyzed with the same level of detail. That level of attention showed just how much interest Caitlin Clark and the Fever had brought to the league. Inside the organization, however, the mission hadn't changed. Prepare, communicate, execute, win. Those goals remained exactly the same regardless of what was trending online. As the countdown to tip-off continued, the anticipation only grew stronger. Everyone was waiting for one thing: the official lineup. Because once the ball was tipped, the rumors would disappear, and the basketball would finally begin. As the waiting finally came to an end, fans realized something important. For days, the conversation had been driven by questions. Questions about the lineup. Questions about rotations. Questions about coaching decisions. But once the opening tip arrived, only one thing mattered: basketball. Throughout the season, the Indiana Fever have learned that expectations can change overnight. One impressive performance creates excitement. One difficult game creates criticism. One coaching decision becomes a national headline. That's the reality of being one of the most closely watched teams in professional sports. Across #IndianaFever, supporters continued discussing the team's long-term goals. Building chemistry. Improving defensively. Executing consistently in close games. Those objectives remained far more important than the rumors that had dominated social media earlier in the week. Comments under @Indiana Fever and @WNBA reflected a noticeable shift. Instead of debating speculation, fans started talking about ball movement, defensive intensity, shot selection, bench production. The focus had returned to basketball. And that's exactly where Stephanie White wanted it. Throughout the season, the coaching staff has consistently emphasized preparation, communication, and execution. Those priorities don't change because of online discussions. They don't change because of headlines. They only change based on what happens between the opening tip and the final buzzer. Across #Caitlin Clark, fans continued celebrating Clark's ability to energize the offense with her passing, pace, and court vision. Supporters also praised Sophie Cunningham's competitiveness and veteran presence, pointing out how experienced players can help stabilize a team during challenging stretches of the season. Basketball analysts reminded viewers that successful teams aren't judged by one practice, one interview, or 1 week of speculation. They are judged by months of work, consistency, resilience, and the ability to improve as the season progresses. That's the challenge facing the Fever. And it's also their opportunity. Because every game gives them another chance to grow together. Another chance to strengthen chemistry. Another chance to prove themselves against the league's best. As #WNBA continues attracting record audiences, the spotlight on the Fever will only become brighter. Every victory will generate excitement. Every setback will create debate. But in the end, the standings won't be decided by rumors. They'll be decided by teamwork, discipline, and performance on the court. Now we want to hear from you. What do you think is the biggest key to the Indiana Fever's success this season? Can this team continue building momentum as the season moves forward? Share your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more #WNBA news, #Indiana Fever updates, and in-depth basketball analysis. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.